Good afternoon. The title of this presentation today is The Way. This is for you to take home, so please open it. You have two documents and hold them in your hand. When I start preparing this topic, I took almost a vow not to do it the academic way. So this is experiment. If it works, works. If not, practice the way you have lifelong opportunities. So, excuse my English, but I would like to start reading a few sections, not too many. You have two documents. This is, we'll talk about that after that, but was translated by multiple scholars or Zen practitioners or gurus and so on. So you have here two translations to English out of many that you can find in Google. The first one that's called Relying on Mind is very poetic, very beautiful. The other one is maybe more detailed and more precise in terms of the translation. What I also learned among that, despite something I have to know, this is the original Chinese. So this not to for homework to read at home, but just see how short it is in Chinese and how long it became in English. What it shows, especially in ancient Chinese, what it shows that actually each term here can be translated to more than a few terms in English. So there is a lot of subjectivity into it. And maybe a lot of scholarship, depends who you are, where do you come from, what is your background, so forth, to put this translation in writing. Okay, so relying on mind. The supreme way is not difficult. Just preclude picking and choosing. Without yearning or loathing, the way is perfectly apparent, while even a hairbreadth difference separate heaven and earth. To see the way with your own eyes, quit agreeing and disagreeing. The bottling of like and dislike, that is the disease of the mind. Misunderstanding the great mystery, people labor in vain for peace. Mind has a totality of space, nothing lacking, nothing extra. It's just selecting and rejecting that make it seem otherwise. Now we go a little bit on the same page, more or less to the last third. Bring gabbing and speculation to a stop, and the whole world open up to you. If you want the essence, get right to the root. Chasing reflection, you lose sight of the source. And then at the end, last two sentences on this page, there is no need to seek the truth. Just put a stop to your opinion. Continue. Dualistic construct don't endure, so take care not to pursue them. As soon as positive and negative arise, the mind is lost in confusion. The two exist because of the one, but don't cling to oneness either. If you don't conceive even oneness of mind, the 10,000 things are all flawless. And maybe I'll end with the second translation. If you open in maybe the last paragraph. One thing, all things. Move among and intermingle without distinction. To live in this realization is to be without anxiety about non-perfection. To live in this faith is a road to non-duality, because the non-duality is one with a trusting mind. Words, the way is beyond language. For in this there is no yesterday, no tomorrow, no today. Maybe I'll stop here and take just another minute just to browse it, to get more feeling, or whatever version you like, and then we'll talk more. Okay, I read it, I think, until today, probably almost 100 times, so every time you can enjoy it. It's very pacifying. So, this is, used to be one canonical text of the Northern School of Zen, of silent illumination, in contrast to the Southern, which was sudden illumination. It is believed that the third patriarch put it together or wrote it. So who was the third patriarch? We don't know too much about him. What we know is that he suffered from a disease, most likely leprosy, and he was dying. And at this time, he approached the second patriarch, and he asked him to help him to get rid of his sins, because he thought that he suffered because of wrongdoing. So the second patriarch told him, show me your sins and I'll cure you. So he came to him after a while and told him, I can't find my sins. So he told him, sins, you're cured. And then he was an enlightenment, and we got the third patriarch. But what I want to start is Bodhidharma, because what we have here is a succession of 4 transmissions that follow the same pattern. Bodhidharma was sitting in the cave, and he repulsed any student. I discussed it with Jake 2 days ago. You know, we take it, I took it, so we went from India to China. It wasn't so simple. He stopped the lineage of transmission in India. He was the 28th patriarch. After him, there is no Indian patriarch. So he took a very, I think, as a responsible person. Some people say that all the story about Bodhidharma is myth, but whatever, let's say that he was a real person. So he came to China for some reason, and not because there was Chinese food, but because of other reason. And to repulse students, we didn't have too many. So finally, he paid attention, or a little bit of attention to this student of his, and he asked him, what do you want? And he told him, I want peace of mind. So he told him, fine, go and show me your mind, and I'll take care of it. he came to him after a while and told him, I can't find my mind. So he told him, I pacify you. Oh, you're already... So, and he was enlightened, and he did something similar to the third patriarch. And what about the fourth patriarch? The fourth patriarch. So, the fourth patriarch came to the third patriarch, which put this together, and asked for teaching. So he asked him, what do you want? And he said, I want deliverance. I'm looking for deliverance. So the third patriarch told him, who put you in bondage? And we got the fourth patriarch, making it like that. So each of them underwent probably a total or a kind of complete realization that brought him to the level of being patriarch. Now, when scholars look into this text, they see a few things. First, there is nothing here in Sanskrit or Pali that even relate or similar to Indian text. So based on that, if this is correct, written by the third patriarch, this is the first Chen document. And what you see here is the influence of the Tao. That's very apparent. So already in the third patriarch, this was evident. However, when they look into that, they find something very, very different. And this is not based only on textual analysis, but this is based also on some archaeological finding. If I knew that, I would go and visit the place, but in West China, it was discovered a few decades ago in a cave, documents that are related to Zen, or Zen documents, and all of them belong to school of Zen that disappeared. And this is called the Ox Head School. It's not clear, it was a kind of little bit mysterious, but there were a lot of manuscript or documents, not a lot, but were used throughout the generation. I read also, if you remember the story about Huineng, the sixth patriarch, when he was told by the fifth patriarch to run away, there was one guy that followed him. And this guy met him on the top of a mountain meditating, and he was encircling him, and Huineng asked him, what is this? And he told him that he wanted him to help him to be illuminated, and he helped him, and he stayed with him another day, and then he disappeared. So it is believed that this guy was a founder of the Ox Head, but this is speculation. And if this is the case, so this put this document 300 or 400 years forward. This is like the 6th century BC, then goes to 8th, 9th century BC, AC. Okay, so what is the way? What is the way? What does it mean, the way? I mean, can we take it to Los Angeles? Can we take it to the 5? Can we take it to Santa Barbara or to Phoenix? We can't, right? So what is the way? I mean, so actually, in Tao Te Ching I couldn't find it, but in this book, Wenzu, who quotes Lao Tse all along, the texts here are by far longer than what we have in Tao Te Ching. And in the first one, the first paragraph, he quotes from Lao Tse. Lao Tse said, there is something, an undifferentiated whole, that was born before heaven and earth. It is only abstract images, no concrete form. It is deep, dark, silent, undefined. We do not hear its voice. Assigning a name to it, I call it the way. So it's a metaphor, and we don't need to be entangled here with the word, the way. So if he didn't talk about the mind, I would suggest that this is like a state of mind. But he talked about the mind. But his mind is very different from what we consider a mind, correct? This is not, his mind is mind with uppercase M. And our mind is the lowercase m. Like God is uppercase versus God is lowercase. His mind is, I don't want to put word beyond that, what he did by far better. So what we have here is, I don't know whether this is post-enlightenment statement or poem, whether this is daily understanding. Because if it's daily understanding, what is a practice? What is a practice of it? How do you get into that? He didn't mention meditation. In his time there were no Quran. So what did he practice? I don't know. I'm raising it as a question. I'm almost sure that he was meditating. If Bodhidharma was sitting 9 years in the cave, he probably was sitting at least 1 month, or I don't know how many. But it's not apparent. They don't speak about it. And this forced me to do some additional searches. And I found something that can explain it, whether this is what he relate to, or I don't know, maybe it's a subject for another talk one day. So that's another aspect of that. What else? There are a lot of elements here that were used by other, even in the identity of relative and absolute. You find elements from here in the Sandukai that appears over there. And as I say, this is very, very well known, used to be at least, a document for the Northern School of Chan. So we can get the echo of it, or the shadow of it elsewhere.
I don't know if you remember, Roshi, I think the first retreat we worked on this.
There you go. The very first retreat I led, well, the first 2 lines is what we pulled out of that to pick and choose. And so bringing it up back around now at this very point.
Maybe something important about the about this guy. As I say, we don't know too much about him. Not history or scholarship. He was a layman, and after he got his transmission from the second patriarch, he told him to stay in hiding because of persecution against Buddhists that are coming, and this is based on Bodhidharma prophecy. So he was living as peasant or for like 15 years. And then he came out of his solitude or his escapism and walked around for 10 years, that's all. and then he died. And during these 10 years, he happened, or the fourth patriarch. And I think this, as far as I read, this was his only transmission. So, I mean, this is just amazing if you look backward. I mean, what a selection of people. I mean, each of them was, I don't know how to say that, but really patriarch. I mean, that was able to push it forward and to propel the transmission. And we are product of that.
Well, it's interesting, you're saying one thing with the third patriarch. When he passed the transmission on to the fourth patriarch actually became very popular, had about 500 students. And this was when actually the monastic environment started to be functioning. And we started to have the kind of the institutional piece to it. And one other comment too is, based on Maizumi Roshi bringing women into the area of teaching, Bernie Glassman began working with a number of the women teachers and other teachers, and we've changed the word patriarch to ancestor now. That's why when we do the relative identity of relative and absolute, we use ancestor instead of patriarch. And so this is something that I need to learn, and I would encourage all of us to do as well, because it fits right in with, you know, our modern society wanting to acknowledge that. And they're going back and trying to, as you said, who was, you know, what happened when Bodhidharma came from India. The same sort of thing is, where are the women, and how can we acknowledge them? I've understood too, Eyal, maybe you know, because you've gone to China and things like that. What I'm told is there are huge amounts of Buddhist literature that has not been translated yet.
Yeah, and I think this, together with a huge amount of destruction that took place during the time of Mao Zedong, the Cultural Revolution, horrible things. For instance, Yunmen, who considered to be like one of the last masters, the Chinese masters that lived a few centuries, 10th century or maybe 11th century. His monastery is not far away from where, and it was damaged, and people claim that his mummy was still there. Not that, you know, you need kind of something to you know, figure to bow for it. But this went, I don't know, maybe people stole it or people burn it or who knows what, with a lot of evidence from his own life and his own time.
Do you speak Chinese?
No.
Well, no.
You mentioned the third patriarch having to go into hiding. And this is the point in time when the roxu became a garment because it could be worn under, rather than the robes that you would, the large robes. I have the large brown robe, and I've got a Roshi robe that's, you know, very beautiful. But when they couldn't wear those because of persecution, they created these and wore them underneath.
Okay, I want to finish with something else. You cannot see it with your eyes. You cannot hold it with your hands. You cannot smell it with your nose. You cannot hear it with your ears. You cannot taste it with your tongue. You cannot form it with your thoughts. Here it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Judy, you had something you wanted,
But
is
I
it, do
thought
we
I-
want to leave the tape running? Is this part of the talk?
No, I thought perhaps the most appropriate thing would be for us to maybe sit now and through the end of the evening, and then maybe before Eyal leaves,
Okay,
since he won't be with us tomorrow.
okay. So, yeah, thank you. Appreciated that. Let's go ahead, I'm going to turn